Sinatra when I'm gone. Face forward to the light, burn down the bad times. Bright fires lighting up the trees of great nights. With a sound so perfect it's hard to hear. The stars look so different from here. I turn around and I'm going left to find you, 'cause I wanna book a date and get up behind you. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this the best? Isn't this the way you live your life? Or what's left? And what's left of me? You are the flowers in the dirt. This is what your life is worth. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone. You are the flowers in the dirt. This is what your life is worth. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone. The stars are out and we stare to the edge of Zenith. There's no more pain, it's all about the sound between us. I take pills, I take hits, I take shots, I'll take you underground. Where we're from till we die, and I mean this, I mean this, and I mean this, yeah. Flowers in the dirt. This is what your life is worth. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone. You are the flowers in the dirt. This is what your life is worth. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone. I'll sing some Frank Sinatra when I'm gone.
And this is the hashtag Nothing Show. I'm in public, I can't do that too much. But I am in a predominantly Mexican area, so it would be completely accepted. So actually, I shouldn't be so embarrassed to say it's the hashtag Nothing Show. Oh, but now I choked. There it went. Holy shit, hello. We have a packed house today. We have a packed house today, starting from left to right, even though direction means nothing here in Nothing Land. We have with us Mr. Williams.
Hello, hello,
Hey,
and
hey,
good night.
Ew. We also have two other guests, Mr. Williams.
Yes, one I know and one I'm not familiar with.
You should be, because he's been here since the beginning. The one, the only, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Mapsar. Hello from merry old England.
Hello.
Cheerio! And to get through the intros real quick, that wasn't even a real sentence, Quasimodo is with us as well. The one-eyed pirate of the internet seas.
When
Otherwise-
your life craves depth, look for
The
the
infiltrator
NG
of your lady's
report.
trousers.
Otherwise known as Kwisatz Haderach.
You're the only person that ever pronounces that correctly.
Well, thank you. With a first actual name like mine, you know, I become good at that over the years. Pretty great at that, actually.
Is it the Moorish influence, perhaps?
Really, like I've been telling people for the last few years now, I'm really probably gonna have to throw some money at figuring out where my name actually comes from.
Mr. Williams, I was about to say this is a reboot, so actually we haven't done that whole bit of pronouncing your name. So why don't we pronounce your name for the world to understand?
Okay.
That I'm a fat man.
My actual legit first name is Heronatus.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
Now, I think I say it right. I think I've always said it right. He always says I says it wrong. But we're not going to go along that path. We're not going to play that Abbott and Costello routine today.
Who's on first?
Nobody's on first. I'll tell you what's on first. What's on deck? Yesterday's conversation. I'm just the world at large. The world at large is going insane, and I'm feasting on their madness and growing in my own madness.
Okay, well, why don't we pull one of those insane stories out and let's discuss?
I don't know. Let's go. Let's just stay lighter. Let's just be light for a little bit.
Does that have something to do with Rob Lowe?
Oh God.
No, this isn't Rob Lowe Part 4. That would all be merry. No. Just pretty much, well, I almost punched out a Wendy's drive-through machine the other day. Did I tell that story yesterday or not? I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. No.
That reminds me of the Super Saiyan lady going through the drive-through. If you've ever seen that video.
I don't recall. Describe it.
Well, she becomes ill-tempered with the drive-through attendant, and she starts screaming. And then at some point, she gets out of her vehicle and threatens to go Super Saiyan, and she punches through the glass.
I do remember, and they did it. That was back when they were auto-tuning everything.
No, and for those people who are not in the loop of what a Super Saiyan is, because this actually ties into a lot of our previous shows and conversations. So for those of you not in the loop, when she means to go Super Saiyan, she means she's going to turn into a gigantic monkey.
Is that what that means?
That's exactly what Super Saiyan means.
Really?
Devastation in her wake.
Planet altering devastation.
You see this though? But then that could be like tricking people into racism, because I know that phrase forever. I just think it's some gay anime thing, and I just ignore it. I'm like, yep, Super Saiyan. But sometimes it'll come
in the Dragon Ball one. You actually turn into a giant ape, don't they? So.
Oh well. Let's just hope that doesn't become another Planet of the Apes situation. Let's hope Roseanne doesn't get her show back and say that Valerie Jarrett went Super Saiyan on their asses.
Well, you know what? Well, let's just hope the girl doesn't actually look like a monkey. Then it really will work out the wrong way.
So remind me though, if anyone cares. I mean, really, the end result was I almost punched out the machine. The story is probably dumb, but it was real annoying. But remind that later. I wanted to pop into some interesting stuff real quick. I looked at the analytics last night for the first time ever. And there were some very interesting and hilarious things that I discovered.
Okay.
Number one, Mr. Williams.
Uh-oh.
We would agree that you're not really a watcher of these shows, right? I mean, we've gone over it. Lou says he doesn't watch these shows. Charles doesn't watch the shows. We've gone over it a billion times. I'm the only one who watches them.
No. I've been habitually guilty of not watching our shows and supporting other teammates' shows by taking a look and watching. I've gotten better with that over the last several
maybe
years.
Did you get like Super Saiyan good? Because dude, Virginia is for lovers of the #nothing show. It is the second most popular, I believe it was. It was second or third. The top three were Virginia, New Jersey, and Tennessee. Tennessee. So, well, we know Mr. Williams is in Virginia, and I also have a note on the New Jersey bit too. We know Mr. Williams is in Virginia, but as we just went over, he has been, we've gone over it. He doesn't really watch the shows. So
Not
who
in the
in
past.
Virginia, Quantico, is watching these shows?
Well, I can only say this because some of those names, that come up, I'm not exactly, totally sure of, but I can definitely tell you overall that Virginia is a very, I could say, is a very varied, series of cultures out here, especially the younger generation that's out here, man. And a lot of those kids, man, and a lot of those also adults around our age and maybe a few years younger are actually into the type of shit that we do.
Well, maybe then that's what it is, because your home base, maybe it's your friends, man. Maybe they watch the shows. Like, when you post shit out on your Facebook and your Twitter and shit, maybe it's people off of there that know you locally.
Yeah, I'm also part of a community on Facebook that's called I'm a YouTube creator. I'm a creator and YouTube channels where I usually post that shit up there and people usually get into it up there. But I can definitely tell you that overall it's just a culture out here, man. It's like I said, especially like the younger generation and people like right around our age, they're they're definitely into that type of shit. So the Joe Rogan type
I
stuff.
don't think it's that. I really don't. I think it's like New Jersey. I think it's just people who know us, because I haven't been living in New Jersey in the entire duration of this show, but that's where I'm from, and New Jersey is up in the top 3 of where the views come from here. And there's always this number of viewers that are not matching the number of chatters. So there's these silent chatters. I suspect those people may not actually be agents of the Federal Investigations Bureaus, the FIB. They might actually be people who know us and are lurking for some reason or another.
Well, maybe they will support, but they don't. You know how it is, man. You know how it is sometimes when you feel like that somebody is on the cusp of trying to do something big, like we're we keep pushing for you. And I think that it's just people, they want to support, but they don't want to feel like they're being a hanger on, maybe. But I truly don't feel like it's so much that on my end, because they would tell me most of the people that I know that support, that support what I do,
maybe
they
it's
would
like
tell
you
me
got
that
some ex-girlfriends over there who are stalking you now from vagina. Some vagina from Virginia.
Well, Todd, that once you venture to the dark side, there's no going back.
Well, on that note, let's go to some other interesting analytics. You know what? Out of all, nobody, Mr. Williams, has ever looked for you. No one's looked for Mr. Mafsard or Quasimodo here. But they have looked for Lou in a way. Lou Dong is a large traffic source for these shows. And it was interesting because they came 50-50 from like Germany and Bolivia or some shit like that. People hunting for Lou Dong and staying for the show. But Lou and his dong doth not compare to the power of the draw of Charles Whedon. He's like his name is like the #1 traffic source for our shows.
Wow.
How is this? I mean, I know how it is. I say all along, Charles Whedon is an amazing character for the internets, and he belongs where he is on the internet.
Yes, he's a poor man's Adam Ruins Everything.
Well, I don't like anybody named Adam, so I've stayed away from that show. But what do you guys think of that? You quiet guys. Do you have any theories on does Charles Whedon have secret lovers? What is it?
It's his voodoo, dude.
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy, Charles. So definitely agree on those stats.
I do too.
He's also big in the gaming community, so
Hey, that could be it as well. Those are the most likely scenarios. The gaming community, what you said there, Quasi.
Yeah, I used to have, like I said, I mean, we've often talked him up. I mean, we've often talked him up and just how lovable of a guy he is. I mean, like I said, I've often had warm and fuzzies for him for quite a while, but lately he's kind of wet the bed. You know what I'm saying? With me, and kind of made me a little aggy. I have to admit, you know.
I'm waiting for it. Give him the old 1-2, Chuck.
I mean, Todd, you were there. You know the last thing that was spoken by Charles when he referred to me on the show with you and Lou.
Well, I will apologize to you in advance because I'm usually pretty fucking high. So I have no clue. I heard some of the Toby tapes and remembering things people say on these shows, okay? So yeah, things are said in these shows. So what did he say?
Okay, well, there was a point of speaking about me. Now, of course, you know, you being Utah, you were throwing your shots out there, you know, letting them know that,
Speaking of throwing shots, you two over there in the corner, don't forget, we got to tell them all about Toby after this. Yeah, go ahead.
Who's Toby?
Okay, but he was but she was like, okay, yeah, he will probably be there for you for those superhero shows, but you're probably going to get him for like 12 minutes, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that, right? So I'm sitting here chuckling my ass off about that one, right? Right. So, but the thing that really, you know what I'm saying, got to me was that Charles was like, he didn't want to have to do the show twice, referring once again to feeling like he had to tell me about the show when we did the superhero show one fucking week. He had to tell me about the damn shows and then proceeded to go on to the show, tell everyone or anyone who would fucking listen that I didn't actually watch the fucking show, and then kind of move fucking on from there. So, and based on that, he wanted to still hold on to that as if like that is going to be the basis of our partnership.
Well, you know, he got fired from that program on the Onboard Network, the superhero show, for being a white, right?
From being a what?
A white. A white.
Just being white?
Really?
A white.
Really? You're gonna make me miss you right now, Todd. Really? Really? Really?
Don't make them bust a rhyme. Virginia is the hustlers, always looking for the customers.
That's been my running joke. That's been my running joke with Lou and Charles, that Charles got fired because he's a white. But, I mean, there is a huge demographic shift on the Onboard Network, and you can't speak against the facts. I'm just saying.
But Quizaz, I want to clear up that when I said I was going to go The Miz on him, I mean like the WWE superstar The Miz.
He likes to talk wrestling because he knows when we meet, he's going to like be wearing a pair of Speedos and those long boots. And he's going to be like, come here, big fella. I've been waiting for you. And he's going to be like oiling up with baby oil and shit.
Off the top rope.
Oh no, sir. I'm gonna go full Bullet Club, you know what I'm saying, on you and shit like that. Like Rock and Roll Express, you know what I'm saying, tights with the damn tassels, you know what I'm saying, the bottom boots and every goddamn thing. No Speedo. I'm going full Rock and Roll Express.
All I know is if I gotta wrestle you WWF styles, I'm gonna have to shave all my body hair and then grow it back for about a week until it's all pokey. That's what I'm doing.
You know that, CC, that right there is just, you know, I think, CC, that's what contracts are for right there, CC, so we can avoid, you know, some little like that.
I'm shaving nothing. I'm walking in there with my Zangief proud.
Oh my God, no! You either, you know what I'm saying, you either draw, you either got them shave a nice little arrow or a nice little triangle in the front of that, you know what I'm saying, or you don't get to claim Zangief when you come in there, pal. You just get to claim like Man Bear.
I mean, I could here in the middle of this fucking mall parking lot take my shirt off and you know, prove the Zangief here, just so you know. So, but I'm not going to because.
From the fetid shores of New Jersey, it's Todd Grundle, Stubby Stubman.
No, because look, we keep talking about this whole thing about, you know what I'm saying, about this whole little showdown. You know, honestly,
It's
I'm
not
going to
gonna
say, look,
happen. By the time we fucking meet, I'm first off. Even if we did it now, I'd definitely kick your ass, but I would be too tired in like 3 minutes, and then you'd probably kick my ass. I guess I don't know how the adrenaline works. I think I'd have a heart attack. Once my adrenaline kicked in, I'd probably have a heart attack. But I mean, I definitely would kick your ass, no problem, easy peasy. That's not the question.
wow,
But the stamina?
wow.
No, I don't have the stamina. And you do jogging and you tug on your dick a lot. So, you know, you keep yourself fit.
Now, wasn't Toby the strongest of the Nothing Crew? Whatever happened to him? I saw him tear a phone book in two.
The strongest. Yeah, so Mr. Williams, Toby's back. He's back in the chats. Your brother in Wills is back in the chats. He's,
Really?
Yeah, he's pretending not to be here today. But he's
the cane to my Abel?
Yeah.
The cane to my Abel, you mean?
Yeah, the coal to your slaw. I don't know.
No, I mean, hey, I mean, is he really a brother? Because I mean, we've talked about this, right? I mean, is this what this is?
Well, brothers do betray, don't they?
Yes, and what should brothers get for their betrayals?
I don't know.
A knuckle sandwich.
Mathsart, what do you think of all of this? What do you think of the new Nothing show that you came back into after this long, long absence? Sexy lady walk by. Nah, she's old. Never mind. Is Mathsart gone?
No, I'm looking at his profile picture.
Well,
hi.
Well, whatever. I'm sure whatever you had to say, Mathsart, wouldn't have been interesting anyway. Try again later. Quasimati, you're providing amazing sound effects, but what kind of topics would you like to bring instead? I really do.
Well,
You're knocking them out with those 1-2 punches, so we definitely don't have a lack of your voice, but let's get your direction now.
Well, I'll take a serious turn here because I've been trying to tell people about something I found on the internet that really explains this.
Oh, no, we're not talking about that Mr. Roper pornography again.
I don't even know what that is.
From the Three's Company program on television?
I think you're putting words in my mouth.
No.
So, yeah, this Q thing, I actually stumbled upon a PDF online. It's the Omnibus Crime Control and Prevention Act of 1968, and it actually got an update in April of 2018. And incidentally, the part that I would like to bring attention to is Part Q, known as Cops on the Beat, and that perfectly outlines everything that Q is about. Now, what I don't understand is why they won't go further.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this should be quickly addressed. I thought Toby debunked Q many, many months ago.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of
and by
BS
Toby did it, I
too.
mean he provided a shitload of links from the Redditors who did it, or the the 4chaners or whatever channers. Go on, sorry.
Well, without a doubt, there's a lot of tomfoolery going on. But what I'm saying is I found a legal precedent for it. Like, it substantiates the whole thing. It talks about human trafficking, recruiting ordinary everyday citizens for crime fighting, investigation. It talks about using innovative techniques, which it doesn't letter it out, but talks about using technology and innovative techniques to recruit citizens, which 4chan and Twitter and these types of things would fall into that. So I would encourage everybody to just check it out, because I've been trying to shout it from the rooftops, but I guess everybody's just too lazy to actually read. And these YouTubers are all just morons, I guess, chasing views, and they won't listen.
But the build on what you're saying, Quizaz, this is where I think we can let people know that just look at some of the shows that are out here. It's been that way for the longest time, where where certain movies are put out just to, you know what I'm saying, just to make people feel like that's something that couldn't possibly happen. So when you think about that show with Jeremy Piven, with the that kind of mirrors exactly, you know, what you're talking about right now, where he kind of used basically, you know, the social media and, you know, and the internet and the people to sort of basically to sort of catch criminals and things like that, but ultimately trying to catch who murdered his daughter. But basically, I mean, they try to make it seem like a private source was doing it, but I mean, this is all just to kind of make people believe or desensitize people to the fact that
Which program was this? This doesn't sound like any Jeremy Piven program I've ever seen of. Mr. Pepperidge on the PBS.
What, God, the name's escaping me right now. But
all right, well then go on with your point. I don't want to steal your point. Keep it up.
Oh no, but basically that's, I just feel like to build on that. That's what I feel like is being shown right there on TV. So I just feel like that's, I mean, it's not something that's really all that far off. So I kind of get where you're coming from on that. I mean, I think often, like I said, I think often media has been used to basically kind of desensitize people to what could be happening and what's going on. And the name of the show, by the way, is Wisdom of the Crowd.
Never heard of it.
Well, thank you, because wisdom of the crowd is exact. I mean, you're sourcing your information from the population at large. So yeah, that even really sounds a lot like it. Now, mind you, that's not to say that it is real, but I don't think it's good. I think if they're not coming out and owning it, I think there probably is some nefarious something or other going on. Like this Cambridge Analytica stuff, for instance, could be behind it. Some people say that it was just a ploy to get Trump elected, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, I don't trust it, but I do think I found the root of what it is and what, you know, how it manifests. But there's, like I said, there's a reason they're keeping it secret, because it's so plain to see. If you just read it, it makes perfect sense with the thing I found. But, you know, then there's all these YouTubers being contacted and directly asking them to cover it, this and that. And then if you look, like early on, it started out, could not support it at first, but now they're starting to advocate regime change in Iran and things like that. So it's really taken a turn. You know, I certainly can't support what they're espousing now. But that's the thing. They gain your trust, and then they start feeding you disinfo or, you know, realigning your bias with theirs, for instance.
To be honest, I just don't know. I haven't bothered. Nothing has come out from the Q camp that has, and this I think answers your earlier question, Kiwi, about why nobody's shouting it from the rooftops, because I don't think there's anything for the layman to even comprehend that's coming out. And, you know, there's no real shockers, at least not in the mainstream. And look, this is one thing that could be in the defense of the legitimacy of Q in this whole movement. Roseanne, she tweeted about Q all the time, and even informed about him in her finale trailer. The storm is coming, you know, hashtag QAnon. And then that was for the last episode of the season of her reboot, her massive fucking revival. And then on the other hand, she's saying George Soros is a Nazi. That I can verify from watching what I saw and heard, that what she said, you know, was, you know, true enough.
He's a self-admitted Nazi,
yeah.
So that's not even made up.
But that I really am interested in.
Wait, before I go. But just the last point is, and then she was hit, and then they did a hit job on her. So that does kind of speak a bit to legitimacy. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, but I'm really interested in getting some people up here that can really speak to this QAnon thing, because the first thing that I did when I did some digging. I mean, of course, because for other people, the Q thing is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be, from what I've, of course, looked into, was just an extreme security clearance that is like, I mean, that is like the most invasive, you know what I'm saying, that anyone, you know what I'm saying, that anyone has ever seen as far as the intelligence, you know what I'm saying, industry goes, as far as government goes. So, but then the Anon thing, that's the thing that I'm really interested in breaking down, because from any of the circles that I run in, from the anonymous, you know, from the anonymous collective, there is no one who is even speaking or mentioning, you know what I'm saying, QAnon or any sort of op, you know, in that direction. So I'm really trying to, you know, get someone who can really speak to where this whole, you know, anonymous came from.
You have somebody who can speak on that, because fucking Kiwi here follows this shit, to my knowledge, pretty closely. But before anybody speaks on anything anymore, I got something legitimate that's potentially. Did this really just happen? According to Fox 10 live stream that just ended, I just clicked over on a page. Pro-choice is over.
What?
This is what I'm seeing on the interwebs. Fox 10 live stream just ended. Pro-choice is over. They say it happened. 10 million registered Democrats didn't vote, and now our liberties are being stripped away.
Not really a good liberty, though.
Well, there's that, so maybe that's real, maybe it's not, but go back to your Q stuff, because I really think you did find yourself a person who might have something to say, who should, if he follows them. I don't. Q who? From Impractical Jokers? Staten Island's Q? Oh!
Well, like I said, if you just simply read the PDF, I mean, that is a piece of legislation that was written and then revised during the Trump administration. And it really meshes quite well in a chronological sense and a thematic sense. I mean, it's even part Q, for fuck's sake. Like, if you just read it, it tells you everything that's going on. So there's probably somebody within the government, yes, that's in charge of it. And it's not supposed to be them that's getting the stage. It's these community members, these civilians. They're the ones, you know, taking all the heat. And so it could also be possible, because if you look at some of the kooks that are attached to this, it could be a way of kind of discrediting the truth movement, you know, because if you looked at the Bilderberg agenda.
That's what I had thought. And real quick, I'm going to discredit the so-called thing I just said. I don't think that pro-choice thing was true. I think whatever that Fox 10 thing was bullshit. So disregard for that.
I think so too. I'm pretty sure of that.
I'm pretty sure as well. But go ahead, as you were saying, because that's what I thought, Kiwi, that it was a disinformation or a discrediting campaign.
Yeah, so if you look at the Bilderberg agenda, about halfway down on it, it talks about the post-truth movement. And so, you know, it leads me to believe that there probably is somebody at the top controlling that, and that, you know, now that it's moving into the destabilization of Iran and regime change, things like that, these are all the same things that the Zionists want. And so, you know, maybe it was hijacked, I don't know, but if you recall, the origins of Q actually originate with Cicada. At the end of last year's 7 Exposed puzzle, they pretty much told us that it was going to happen, and then it happened, and then shortly after, there was a certain period of time that it was pretty convincing and had a certain flavor about it, and then it kind of stopped, and then from that point on, it got real funny, and the trick codes and all that bunch of crap started changing, and you know, it just spiraled out of control after that.
Well, we do know that there were disinformation or discrediting campaigns for Cicada and all that. So it's a hard pill not to swallow. It's a pretty easy one, but where's the sizzle? Where's the big line?
I ran across.
What am I supposed to shout? Sorry.
I ran across some connections to the Podestas and the Clintons while doing some Cicada research, but it was on one of the funny, strange leads that I'd found. It was some like strange website that claimed it was Cicada, you know, and it had ties to the DNC and Huma Abedin, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of nefarious folks were connected to that particular segment. And so, you know, it is quite possible, but I don't want to, you know, defame anybody or slander. It's just that I think, if anything, at the very least, it was being co-opted, hijacked, or something like that. Because clearly that's what happened in this case with the QAnon thing. It's not at all like it was originally.
But I think that's the thing, though. I think all of this out of nowhere, you know, type of stuff that seems to have this inside information, you know what I'm saying, so fervently, you know, it just never was that way. And even as far and deep we are into the age of information, it's still not that easy. I mean, and technology makes it even more difficult in some ways to even obtain, you know, certain information, you know, where most people would just keep documents around that you could get to, that could slip out, that unless they black shit out or, you know what I'm saying, or keep it in a safe place, you know, no one can get to it. But now technology can be hacked, and that's why they're getting more and more people to try to protect those things. So I think I think the whole myth, the whole, you know, I think this whole unicorn that we're chasing of someone who's inside on the government that has all this information and is putting out and is such a renegade. I think that we're just, you know, honestly, the true renegade that did that, regardless of what you feel about that, was I guess I want to get her name right, but I mean was basically who basically outed all the information, got jailed for all that time while while making her transition and everything like that. Those are the true renegades. They get outed, they get destroyed, they take, the licks, because that's what this shit is. No one can just sit among the government and just do this shit unless they're trying to fuck with people, and manipulate the situation. It's just the way that is. And again, I want to say, Kwisatz, the Zionist Jews, I'm totally with you on that. I say to you, like I say to many people over the years that I've talked to about the whole thing about who's behind the curtain, who's really pulling the strings. I think that we're all right, but I think that when we keep trying to go after a certain aspect of this whole entire group, I think that we're doing ourselves a disservice. So while I do understand that they may be a big part of that, but there's other people that go, that goes across the spectrum that are a part of this shit just as well. And it's about bloodline, it's about money, it's about what they're willing to do in order to further that agenda. So it may be the Jews, it may be the corrupt corporations, it may be government officials that have been in there for over, for over half a decade. But I mean, I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Sorry.
It's more than that, dude. This is a spiritual thing. But you got to remember, whoever is at the top, they're getting their marching orders from Satan, fallen angels. Even you go back to Jack Parsons, the guy was involved with the space program. The future tech we have and all this, it's all coming from the spirit realm, man. So, it doesn't really matter what any of the humans that you can deal with. They're still small fries compared to what we're really dealing with here. Okay,
and Kwisatz, I'm willing. I'm willing, because I've always been willing to take that step and go down any rabbit hole there is. So I'm willing to step across that line and say, you might be right. It could be a possibility that we're dealing with that we're truly dealing with the Old Testament shit that will ultimately come to pass at one point. But what I'm challenging you to do at this point is to step across my line and say, what if it was just these old world, old money, black nobility, manipulators saying, ha, religion. That's another thing we use to manipulate you and to play you and to, and to fuck with you. You know, and this is another thing that we use to divide you and to get you to do our bidding because you believe in religion. So religion will drive you to do this. If money won't drive you to do it, if race won't drive you to do it, if nationalism won't drive you to do it, then maybe your belief in a God that tells you that these people are this and these people are this, and their ultimate destruction will come at the hands, and they're about Satan and we're about God. If this is what we need to get you to do our bidding, I mean, I just want you to step across that line and think, what if that is actually true? Are you prepared to deal with that fallout?
Well, yeah, of course I've considered that. But the thing is, I've had so many supernatural experiences that I can't deny the existence of the spirit. And that's where I think that certain drugs and meditative experiences are very important for people to have, because they give you your own anecdotal, quantifiable experience that cannot be faked. And religion is a construct of man, whereas
carry on, guys. Sorry, I
personal,
just smashed my head into the door. Keep going.
Whereas your own personal spiritual experience is, radical empiricism, I think, is the phrase that you can use. That if it's something that's true to you, it's not something that can be necessarily tested by anybody else. So you have to know what's true for you. And that's the whole thing about God, is that it is meant to be a personal experience and a personal connection for somebody. And religion seeks to take that power away from the individual and say that, no, you got to come to church. You have to come to a priest. You can't do that on your own. And then the Jesuit Pope that we have right now is even saying that a personal relationship with Jesus is dangerous. And they would rather you come to the Catholic Church and come to a priest. They are the only way, which is exactly what Jesus taught against. So you say religion, but really religion is the problem. I agree. You can't discount spirituality itself by throwing it in that same batch with religion.
That's where I'm totally with you on that. I can pretty much consider myself an agnostic. I'm not sure if Todd is still an atheist. I don't consider myself.
I never was.
Oh, well, he was part of atheist groups on our old haunts on Google Plus. So
I might have been. I don't even know if I was. Listen, I mass joined a lot of groups. There was a lot of circle sharing back in those days. I never, ever would have or would claim atheism. I more than likely believe in nothing, but then also I met a giant elephant who said what up. So I have no opinion. I'm here and I'm going to die, and that sucks. But keep it going.
I'm
listening. Pedro just showed up. I'm dealing a little bit with Pedro. I'm doing my part for America.
Okay.
But keep going. I'm hearing everything.
But I would just say that those who read the Bible would certainly have read as I've read and as I've often been told.
I read it.
Is that in the Bible? Is that basically a church is not, is not defined by the four walls, in a roof. So it says even in the Bible itself that a church, that structure is not what the relationship, with God is actually about.
Minutia. Not to interrupt, really, but it sounds like right now you guys are dwelling in the minutia of it, which is how you worship or why you worship. I don't know if that is even relevant.
Because not to interrupt, but that's
perfectly relevant. Actually,
it's not where I'm at. I'm willing to discuss. It's not about how I worship, because I'm not really a worshiper, as it were. So again, I'm an agnostic. I do believe that there's possibly a higher power out there. I'm just not totally convinced of what that higher power is.
Well, then let me ask this for the sake of your guys' original topic. Kiwi, is Q all about this Jesus stuff? Like, is that like the tenements of it, or is this your personal interpretations of it?
No, it definitely has a real religiosity, to a tone to a lot of what I read.
Then I step back. Carry on with all of your guys' words.
So what he was saying is about the church not being necessarily a material structure. It does say that, what is it, where two or more or three or more are gathered in my name, that is church. So basically, we having church now just by discussing.
Well, I was going to ask that. Would this be
spirituality.
considered the church? Because none of us are people who... I think we're all people who, whether we're coming at it from a religious angle or not, are searching for that, to quote Cornell, higher truth. So,
well, yeah,
does that count as church?
I definitely want to know. I definitely want to know what happens when I die. I definitely want to feel like I truly know what's going to happen when I die. Am I really going to be judged? Or is it just lights out and that the fuck is it? Or will I come back as some other being?
And if I'm judged, why? I mean, I was just thinking this today. It's so fucking despicable to think like you would create things to judge them. It just doesn't seem... And none of it... I can never find any logic in my heart about God. He seems like a cruel, cruel creature.
I mean, well, Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, I definitely understand. I mean,
I can get that. You can make sense of tests in Sodom and Gomorrah where people are playing with sands and fucking drinking wine and fucking hookers. But it just doesn't make sense when you look at how twisted this fucking world is. How twisted everything is. That's a dicky God. And I say that from somebody who has not been smited by whatever's out there. I deal with my share, but I'm still here, breathing air, right? So therefore, I've not been smited.
Well, you got to remember, the God of this world is not the good one.
What? He's not the what? Or it's not the what?
Well, Satan is the God of this world. So,
well, that I believe, if the religions are true, I do believe in that. Wrote a song about it.
So, I mean, that's kind of where, if I hear somebody using that argument, oh, why does God let this happen or that happen? Those things are happening because that's just the condition of the world and the God that rules it. God is the Father, the Creator, is not here right now. It's just here in spirit. Whatever created us went somewhere else, apparently, for a while. And
yes, it's pretty simple. It's at one point. It's at some point in time. I mean, we keep. I mean, the date keeps changing, but I mean, either he's going to come back like a thief in the night, or it's going to be, what I'm saying, like, it's either going to be like Infinity War. What I'm saying, at this point, from what from what I've read, there's going to be a total Infinity War that's going to go on right here, and those who believe the story's already been pre-written. And the outcome has already been pre-done. So, it will be victory for Team God, Team Jesus, and those who believe and always have faith, they'll ascend up to heaven. And those who never believed and never repented and never got themselves saved and got their names written in the Lamb's Book of Life, are going to burn in the fires of hell.
That's actually corroborated by other religions too. For instance, Islam pretty much says the exact same thing. They even prophesied the return of Isa, which is known as Jesus to them, or Jesus, which is known as Isa, rather, to them,
or Osiris. As in certain other cultures, because this is the thing that I think that we should really actually have a religious conversation at some point later on down the line. I don't want to, like, I think I'm starting to get the point of what Todd is saying. I think maybe we are kind of stuck in this roundabout about it. But I will say I definitely want to have a religious conversation at some point about this in length because we got to get an explanation on how
I definitely want religion,
and Jesus and God is this way, but in a culture that predates so much of that, the Egyptian culture has a similar story with Osiris. and things of this nature. The same thing. I mean, a lot of the same details.
And it even goes back further too. But I had to interrupt you quickly to say we are reaching the end because I'm going to see the green light soon, which really is a red light. But I'll see a green light in a moment, and that'll be about 5 minutes left before the battery cocks out, if we're lucky. So, yeah. So let's if you guys have any unfinished thoughts about tonight's topics, let's get into them. I think we got about 8 minutes left.
I have no problem with being a Super Saiyan. I think we should stop. I think we should stop denying science. Fuck that. We all love, you know what I'm saying, Dragon Ball. I don't mind being a fucking Super Saiyan. You want to call me a fucking monkey? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, deal with it, folks. I mean, this shit is
thanks
bull.
for reminding me, though. I got to watch out for that Super Saiyan now, because the only way I really ever used it is if I said, like, you know, I'm just Super Saiyan. Meaning, like, you know, I'm not saying, but I'm saying. I'm Super Saiyan. Like,
I hear what you're saying.
That's the only way I've ever used it, just because otherwise I thought it was some anime thing. And had no clue it had to do with monkeys or could be construed as racist. And what a world. I could build an empire with my fantastic books of murder and have it all ripped from my hands because I accidentally said some black lady was a Super Saiyan.
Well, I just want to read one verse that would sum a lot of that up we were talking about earlier. In Ephesians 6:12.
Get it?
Exactly.
Look, we're having church already, folks.
No, but do it, because my tongue will be rude if he doesn't get to say his thing.
Ephesians 6:12, quote, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places." Pretty much sums it up. And Brendan hasn't got the talk, so I'd like
but
to.
That also says
now.
People are dicks, and big people are bigger dicks.
Indeed.
I mean, that's everything I ever get from the Bible is always something I could also get from a Hallmark card I've discovered, and I've read it. I've been baptized a dozen fucking times. I don't even know how many times. My mother changed religions like she changed her fucking outfits. Which, as I told you guys, I was raised in this Garden State Plaza. Which I should tell you, she did a lot of shopping. She had a lot of outfits.
Oh, you got to check out the Old Testament, though, Todd. You got to check out that Old Testament.
I read that shit. I read the fucking 1610 fucking Revelations for the internet world. Nobody cared. But I've read the Bibles, all of them. I've read the Bibles from start to end more than once.
Ooh.
And it's just fancy stories, and it's questionable stories too. Some fucking weird shit in there. Not George R.R. Martin weird, but there's some weird shit in there.
Perverted, disturbing, weird.
Well, you got to mind you that I think a lot of that is to be examples not to follow. It's not that every single thing in the Bible is what you should do. A lot of times it's what you should not do. There's also examples of various different people getting saved from different walks of life. Like there's sorcerers that have made pacts with demons getting saved. There's harlots that were, selling their bodies getting saved. People who were persecuting and murdering Jews and Christians getting saved. I mean, so you come from all walks of life. And it has to illustrate that because, in certain cases where somebody thinks that they're not worthy of salvation, for instance, it's there to kind of instill hope in them, to give them, that wake-up call that, hey, it's never too late, until you die.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, man. I can only hope that it doesn't, that I'm wrong.
Green
I can only hope that on.
Just so you know, green light is now on.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I can only hope that I'm wrong, Queen Size, and that it's not like that, and it's not a shell game, and that it really is true. So those people, I've seen them that their beliefs can really come to fruition, but sometimes I don't know, man. But that's all I'm going to say. But it's for another time. Brennan, you want to go ahead?
I think he's asleep. He's been snoring, I think.
See, I wrote it in the chat, but since we're repeating things we wrote in the chat, what's his name? Maths Art became Sylvester P. Smythe today, because whatever happened to him.
Well, it was a good show.
He's the one who types in Charles Whedon. That's what happens. He was hoping for that sweet Whedon. That sweet fucking Charles Jody Whedon.
Our sponsor, Charles Whedon Wacky Weed. Put him to sleep.
Charles Whedon's Tobacco of Truth, only the finest.
God, I am so ready to do those shows, Todd, man.
Which ones?
The 420s.
You're not supposed to talk about those on the internet, man. I'm ready too, but I guess I'm not ready because I don't know. Life is stupid. I guess we're going to have to talk about that another time. Any final thoughts for this glorious evening as I breathe in this fresh, beautiful air and indulge my pleasures?
I've enjoyed this foray into my youth, into my old environment here, in a predominantly black area and religion and everything like that. I look to discuss this more in length because I have a lot of questions.
Williams, I wanted to talk to you about The Purge and my experience, and we never got to do it. Damn it.
The Purge?
The first Purge. It was so racist. It was so bad. The movie was amazing, but I'm starting to believe Alex Jones about those movies being designed by some fucking shady motherfuckers.
I mean, the lead characters were black, though, right?
There was not a single white character in there who was non-evil. Every single other role, it was literally, listen, I had to sit there and listen to people in the audience screaming, "Kill that white motherfucker," over and over again. Lots of words. Listen to yesterday's show. It was bad. They were all fucking pumping Trump-a-pump as soon as it started, too. The whole audience was fucking a titter with the name Trump.
Damn.
Yeah, but that'll be on the next show, because I definitely wanted to go over my whole terrible experience.
Well, we need to take some time and do that and go right into that.
But most importantly, I want to know what you think about movie theater etiquette. As a black man in America, where do you stand?
Bring kids.
I don't do that bullshit. I don't do that talking bullshit. It's dumb as shit. Real quick, and we can discuss it further on the next show. But short answer, I think it's dumb bullshit to be in a fucking movie. You can laugh, you can, you know what I'm saying, you can react to certain moments, but to be actually fucking talking and yelling and all that other bullshit, nah. I mean that's just fucking, that's ridiculous. And you're playing out a stereotype because you think now people are used to it, so you just fucking do it.
Yeah, but you know what? And I agree with you. And I also, but I've been thinking about it. I think I might have even justified it, but that's for the next show. Like, I think I might have actually almost made the behavior sympathetic.
I would love to see that.
But that's for the next show.
I got a rhyme to finish this out.
All right. Were you done with your words, Williams? Can he lull us with his?
Yes, he can.
Lull us to madness, Mr. Moto.
Yo, Heron Williams, Virginia is for hustlers, always looking for them customers, dispensing speeches, sweet as Blackstone peaches, peeling them haters just like leeches that teaches us how to live large.
And that was another amazing and wonderful episode of the Hashtag Nothing Show. I'm your friend, Internet Turd Grendel. He was Mr. Williams, along with Kiwi Hadwick.
When your life craves death,
and
look for the MQ report.
Until next time.
Stay awake. Stay aware.
Have a nice day.